Hey guys, welcome back to Plow and Pantry. I'm Alicia if you're new here, and today we are checking in on the post-Hurricane Helene garden. We are in East Tennessee. Some of you guys checked in with me. I really appreciate that. We are actually on the edge of Cott County where Newport is, if you've seen them in the news. If you've seen Patera from Appalachia's Homestead, visit there. It's about 5 minutes from my house where she was at the drop-off station. We were very fortunate here on our property. We did get a lot of rain. We had flooded, we had trees down a lot around town. We had at one time in our county 40 roads closed. We were without power for about 13 hours, so that wasn't that bad. We do have a generator. We didn't have it on the whole time, but we did turn it on mostly to keep the freezers good and to use water. This part of my city that is not in Cott County still has Cott County utilities. So this part of my city is actually still without water, which is supposed to be 3 to 4 weeks to fix. It was what I heard this morning. We are fortunate to have a well, so we are fine here around this whole thing. I just feel very fortunate right now. We've invited some neighbors that are on city utilities over, if they need to shower, do laundry, fill up containers with water they can use, stuff like that. But we're doing well. So thank you for those of you who checked in on me. I might be spotty the next few weeks with videos because I am spending a lot of time, picking up water and delivering it places, making food with my church and taking it out. We're starting the phase where we're like mucking out people's basements and homes and trying to pre-treat for mold, stuff like that. So it's going to be a long recovery. But I appreciate you guys who were concerned and checked in with me. The garden actually did pretty well. There have been some losses, but it was more the weather, like moisture. It still stayed warm here while it was raining so much. So mildew and funguses are becoming an issue. Right here in the main part, one of my peppers is dead. Most of these peppers are actually still good. The problem right now partly is that I have not been able to get out here, and today is the first time I've been out here in a week, and so there are lots of things that need to be picked. Things are starting to die on the vine. It just wasn't possible. Things are overgrowing. I did notice just now as I was sitting at the camera that the potatoes are ready to be harvested. I don't know though, usually you don't want to dig them up wet, but we are projected to get a little more rain soon, so I don't know if I want to leave them or not. I might dig up one small patch and just check it out and see. The watermelon over there are actually still, the vines are dying, but the watermelon is still good. I've been tossing some to the chickens. We've been eating some. I freeze-dried some because I heard that was really good. It was not our favorite thing, but to each their own. It's just very, very sweet. Wasn't bad, just very sweet. What else we have here in the middle? These were some of the vines I planted when I was doing pumpkins, but these were actually melons. I had free seed of muskmelon, and I have one melon on it. I don't know if that is a normal size or not. I need to look it up. We're not huge melon people, but so what I'm going to start with is over here on this side of the garden. You can see the watermelon. You can actually also see some pumpkin vines crawling into this area, and you can see a lot of weeds, and that's just normal. Like I said, I haven't been out here, and it was warm and wet, and so weeds are going like crazy. The tomatillos are actually still producing. Oh, do you see that beautiful butterfly that just landed? You'll see it right there. Bumping its wings, very sweet. Anyway, so the tomatillos are actually doing pretty well. They are still growing. In fact, I have some to harvest. I might do one more round of the tomatillo salsa verde. I am noticing some bugs right now, though. There are assassin bugs, it looks like. There's a watermelon over here on the ground because the vine just grew through here. I had just started to come out. The morning it started raining before the hurricane, I had just started to come out here and kind of do some cleanup of the cucumbers. It's time to pull the ones off that I want to keep for seed saving and get the rest just pulled out. And it started to rain on me while I was here, and I wanted to show you something. So this bucket from Lowe's, I was out here the morning it started raining, and I was just putting stuff in it and taking it over to the burn pile because as fungus, I don't want to compost it. And So I dumped it and I sat it here. It started raining. I went inside, and when I came out the next morning, it was still raining. It had been less than a day. This bucket was full of rainwater to here. I don't know how many inches that is, probably like 8, maybe 10. It was crazy. And that was just the first day. We got like 2.5 days of rain. So it was a lot of rain really fast. So the tomatillos are doing good. The cucumbers are all the yellow things you're seeing. Those vines are dying and the cucumbers are getting yellow and need to be taken out. I am going to save seed from those. Before I address the pumpkins, I want to show you the tomatoes. I had only gotten like 40 minutes of work out here done before it started raining. I had started pulling ripe tomatoes and close to ripe tomatoes. So these have started to ripen over the last 3 days because I only had green ones left on this first few vines when it started raining, which it's about to again. We're still expecting rain. It's funny that we went from pretty severe drought to like flooded in a day. So I have lost some tomatoes I didn't get to, but most of my Amish paste down there. I do have a bucket of tomatoes somewhere near my back door I didn't have time to deal with during that time. So I have some tomatoes that look right, but I'm going to have to take them off and toss them to the chickens because they're going to be split and full of bugs and all that kind of stuff. But I am going to start pulling these soon. They are still ripening, but we are going to have our nights. Right now it's still warm. It's going to be in the 80s this week. This few days in the 60s at night, but we're going to drop at night, even though the days will still be warm. We'll be dropping down to the 50s and 40s at night a little bit, dipping down in. And I have noticed myself just through the years of gardening that when I get down into the 50s, my tomatoes change texture. They'll still ripen and grow, but they kind of lose flavor and they get a little mealy. And so I start to pull them off before it gets that way, and I let them ripen inside. Until then, I prefer them vine ripened. But if there are any left that are green and not split like these, I will pull them off in the next couple days if I can get out here. Like I said, everybody around here who is not displaced right now is helping everybody else who is. So we're really busy doing all kinds of things as situations come up. We kind of don't know what we're doing until that day, and then we're like, okay, I'll be there. I'll do this. So for right now, I'm just planning on when the next time I can get out here. I've got my list of when I'm home, this is what I can do. Do this first, do this next. So I will try to get out here, get the green ones, use them. I do have a recipe I want to try that I've never tried before that uses green tomatoes. I think there's some sort of pickled tomato situation with rosemary. I have it written down somewhere, which is what I have to do because I won't remember it otherwise. So the tomatoes are better than expected, but not great in condition. And when the hurricane was here, I did have 2 cattle panels. That one came partway off, and I was able to reattach it before it came all the way off. I was out here in the rain doing it, and then one of the cucumber panels fell, and I had to put that one back up. So as far as the front side of the garden, that was the only real damage to structure. So that was good. Let's go over to the pumpkins because there are 2 different issues to address there. So if you watched my videos where I planted the pumpkins, it took me about 2 weeks to get them all in. I planted 70-something pumpkin plants, and they were loaded with blooms and loaded with bees. And so I was super excited to have all these pumpkins to decorate with for fall. And a few weeks ago, I was like, I've had those blooms out there forever, and I've had bees out there forever. I mean, I'd have 3 or 4 bees on every single bloom. I'm not seeing that many pumpkins. So I started to take a closer look. And what was happening was I had a ton of male flowers and not female flowers. And there's a couple of reasons that can happen. But the reason it happened for me, I'm 95% sure, is because one of the things that affects the blooming on pumpkin plants, squash plants, this includes cucumbers, is heat and drought. And we were battling both those situations. And what happens during those, even though I was watering them with a sprinkler, it just wasn't enough. Pumpkins are something that require a ton of water. A lot of pumpkin farmers flood water theirs because they require a lot. So what happens is the plants will put on more male flowers and hold off on doing the female flowers until situations are more favorable, so they're not putting energy into growing pumpkins that are just going to die. So I'm just now seeing baby pumpkins, and it's probably going to be too late. So I have like 70-something plants out here, and I only have about 6 pumpkins to use for decorating, and it's starting to rain. We're going to have to do this in part 2. We lost a tree. It's dead right there. We haven't moved it yet. That was really the most severe damage for us on our property, so we were very fortunate. But here comes the rain. So back to it. I do have a couple of baby, I mean, that's not a baby, that's a good one. A couple new baby pumpkins starting to grow, but I don't think I will have them ready to decorate in time. But there was another problem with the whole pumpkin patch thing. So in addition to putting on fruit late, when the hurricane came, the vines were very healthy until a couple days ago. When the hurricane came, we got 3 days of rain, 2.5 days of rain, but it was still warm, and that is ideal prime conditions for fungus and mildew. And squash plants, pumpkin plants are very, very prone to that. So the vines have started to catch that, and there are too many of them, and it's too late for me to even bother fighting them. So at this point, I have no idea how many pumpkins I will actually have to decorate with. I'm late getting decorated anyways. Really not my biggest concern right now. I love fall. It's my favorite season. I love decorating for fall. It's just there are bigger things right now, you know? So the pumpkins are kind of a loss, which makes me sad because they were really, really great early in the year. It was one of my best pumpkin years as far as the start and the quantity. And then it just kind of fell apart due to the drought and the heat, and then the conditions for fungus and mildew. So we'll see what actually happens, but I've kind of already written off the pumpkins in a way. The corn and tomato tunnel. The tomato tunnel is, all of those are split. I just keep taking handfuls off and feeding them to the chickens. The arch was covered. So you can see these branches have all fallen down from up there. Kind of too short to put them back up. They were pulled out of their clips, and they're all kind of just hanging back bent. I think I will still get a few of these types of tomatoes, but not that many. Most of these are split. Still okay flavor. These tend to fare a little bit better than the big tomatoes, but like I said, I'm constantly pulling them off and giving them to the chickens. Corn we already picked during the year. I was going to get out here and trim some stalks to use as fall decorations, and then that weather kind of just jacked them up. So I'll just rip them out soon. I'll move the chicken fence to include this area so they can start digging through here, and it'll be great. Green beans down here are done for. They are, wow. This is the first time I'm getting a look at them. They are like dead and brown, and I mean, there's some weeds here too, but mostly it's just the weather we just had killed them. I don't know if it was the humidity. I don't know what, because it hasn't been cold, but it's a mess. The comfrey is obviously growing back. If you watched one of my long time ago videos of this season when I was pulling a bunch of this out, and it's brought itself back just fine. Sweet potatoes back in there behind this box that's falling apart. They're doing great. You know what I forgot to show you is the broccoli. So broccoli that I planted here in the middle section, broccolini type things, they are doing well. There are weeds in here that need to come out. This weed is like an amaranth that takes over everything. And it was very tiny 3 days ago, and now it's taking over everything because it was just ideal growing conditions for it. So, but these are growing well. They have not put on any buds yet, but that is fine time-wise for us. I also, these taller corn, these were supposed to be decorative corn, and I have a feeling that between the rain we got, it's probably like moldy inside now and not going to be great. Yeah, it's probably going to be a mess. Okay. So here is the sweet potatoes. They are not ready to pull yet, but oh my gosh, look. They're pushing up. Do you see that? Maybe I should go ahead and harvest them. That's crazy. I love the way sweet potatoes kind of sprawl. I know it would drive some people nuts who don't like the sprawling garden, but I love it. This bed has been a pain point for me. It's just not growing things well. There's some kale and some cabbage and stuff in here, and it is just not growing. I probably need to bring some fertilizer. I don't know if it's too late. This one, however, is the fall bed I did that's doing really good, and I should have been out here harvesting, and it's just been very difficult. I've got some lettuce about to bolt. I've got carrots doing super well right here, some beets doing well. These are daikon radishes that I need to pull. Whoa, look in there. They're way too big. They might be too fibrous-y. I'm going to harvest this bed sometime this week, most of it, and see what I can do with it. There's some more lettuce down there. This is a different type of radish, I believe. Yeah, oh my gosh, look at ugh. But I just couldn't get out here for several days, so that's what happens. But I mean, it's lush and it's beautiful, and most important crop to me were the carrots, and they're doing fine. So I kind of wish I would have planted more. Oh, my cilantro is coming up. Awesome. This is the messy part of the garden. The chickens are hanging out over there right now. So coming over to, this is the next pain point for me. The peppers really, really need to be harvested. I had planned on harvesting in that same day it started raining. The rain came like faster than it was supposed to. I thought I was gonna have time to clean up the garden a bit and harvest my peppers, and I didn't. So I've got all these peppers like dying on the vine out here, and weeds growing in the middle of the beds. But these are not jalapenos. These are jalapeno flavor with no heat. But oh, look at the flies, the gnats. The red ones, see, they're overripe. They've got like sun scald on them. A lot of gnats. These red peppers are doing fabulous though. I'm going to compare. I can't wait to do this year's seed haul. Sorry, not seed haul, seed review for you, because I have started some things this year that I have compared to each other, and I am super excited about some of the discoveries I've made. So some new things I've tried. So that'll probably come sometime in November if you're interested in the seed review of the varieties I tried. See that hill there? That is a brand new anthill. Gigantic one. So it looks like next to the calendula, I have some ants. Wow, that's a pretty big hill. I need to come out here and clip these so that I can dry them. The wind kind of took out the marigolds. They're still growing. I should trim it back, toss them to the chickens. They love that. So the herb bed right here is some of this basil I had managed to get out here and hack back, and some of it I couldn't get to. This one I did, and that one I didn't. You can tell because that one has blooms and this one doesn't. The parsley I need to come, if I could harvest it now, I might get another flush before the frost. Parsley will go a little bit past the frost. I don't know if I need to trim the basil and at least try, but I don't know if I do the basil if it will flush back. My jicama might be about ready to harvest. Dill, this one I can collect seeds. Those are still growing. There's a helicopter in the background because Cott County is right there. There's been a lot of rescues and stuff. I don't normally have helicopter traffic. It's been going many times a day. It's fine. These are a different type of red pepper that I grew, and I compared them to those, so that will be on the seed haul. So this bed is the one that's making my heart ache right now because some of these peppers are going really bad on the vine. I've got a ton of jalapenos right here, and these are Sugar Rush Peach that I normally use for making hot sauce, but I have it like they were ripening right as the stuff started, and it's just kind of gone bad fast. Some more marigold I want to harvest. So these are cayenne. Again, I want to make my own cayenne powder. These little ones are Tabasco. The red ones are the ripest, and I do want to try. I've never made a fermented hot sauce. I would like to try making my own Tabasco sauce. So those bushes are absolutely loaded down though. Absolutely loaded. Then this section of the garden out here got a lot of wind damage. It's the least protected part of the garden. And so it was crazy out there. Let's take a closer look. Got a couple more pumpkins and squashes. There's one over there. And one right there. Yay! This side of the pepper bed is all Anaheim chilies, and like all down the side. And first of all, the pepper beds got blown over, some of it, but they are completely loaded. I need to make more green chilies, and I need more on the shelf. But so many have turned red just in the last 2-3 days. One thing I was excited about were my delicata squash, because they are my favorite, my only winter squash I like. And I finally grew them, but I've grown them before. I only got like one, and this one's producing. I've got 4 of them out here. But then the same thing as the pumpkins, the plant is just completely, it's too far gone to try to save the whole mildew thing, but you know. This is a pineapple ground cherry. It's kind of like, it has husk like a tomatillo does. They're really good little, there's a berry in here. I can't really do it one-handed. There we go. And they are kind of sweet, kind of tart. They're fun. Yum. This one is just like, I need to rip it out. It's a mess. This is the red snacking peppers. Again, another thing I'm excited to review in the seed review. Some more red peppers, another anthill. Banana peppers, I need to get some more of these canned. I like pickled banana peppers. That's what we eat instead of pepperoncinis. Just pickle them the same way. Okay, this little herb thing right here has become a mess in the last couple days. It has those amaranth things that I need to pull. I had gotten half of it mulched, which is working well. This was a volunteer tomato plant I left here and just like fed those to the chickens because it was a hybrid one. I don't want to like eat them, but look, it's all the way over there. It's a mess. Look at that. My rosemary has more ants on it. I have been trying to really kill the ants this year because they are taking over and I get multiple bites every time I'm out here. And so I'm trying to get rid of them. I used to try to just like leave them and let them have balance, but they take over everything. So I'm trying to get rid of them. There is an oregano there that I need to harvest some from. I need more dried oregano in my pantry. And then back in here, there is a sage. I would also like to dry some of that before the season comes out. This is what I'm trying to turn into a perennial herb bed, not annual like the basil, but stuff that just stays alive on its own over the years. So this is a mess. I have some things blown around that didn't used to be here, and more storm clouds. That is Newport over there under those storm clouds. So keep them in your prayers. I have weeds to deal with. I have cleanup to deal with. I'm not really trying that hard to salvage things that have gotten messed up lately because it's just too busy, and I've got fall stuff I want to deal with. I want to preserve what is here and good. And by the time I'm done with those things, it's going to be winter. So that's just how it goes. Anyway, that is how the garden is faring. We've done pretty well here. We're feeling very fortunate right now, especially since we are so close to so many who were hit way harder than us. And I am just feeling really grateful these days, even with the garden being kind of a mess. It's still producing, and I'm still excited. So that's how we're doing. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you guys for your thoughts and prayers. I hope you have a tremendous day.